Welcome to the Walters Art Museum on such a beautiful day, and I take it that you guys are not Ravens football fans, so we're glad to see you here for this poetry reading. Today actually represents the second week in a row where we have had programming devoted to poetry. Last week we had poet Stuart Kestenbaum, who is the director of the Haystack Mountain School of Crafts, reading some of his poetry. In our Renee May program, Stuart lost his brother, who worked in the North Tower of the World Trade Center on September 11th. So today's program, the Smartish Pace reading series, continues with award-winning poets Bradley Paul and Megan Snyder Camp reading from their new collections, followed by a short Q&A. Smartish Pace, founded in 1998, has published over 700 poets and 1,300 poems. That has included 11 Pulitzer Prize winners. 7 of those winners are from 2001 to 2008, and 5 are U.S. Poet Laureates. Smartish Pace poems have received the following awards: the Pushcart Prize, Best American Poetry, Best New Poets. It has been featured on Poetry Daily and Verse Daily, and included in numerous anthologies and books, including the Avon Bolin Reader and a book on Robert Greeley. Their Erskine J. Poetry Prize is in its 11th year. Claudia Emerson won it in 2004, and then the Pulitzer in 2006. The Beulah Rose Poetry Prize is in its 8th year. Smartish Pace is the only magazine to publish previously unpublished Elizabeth Bishop letters, which now appear in a new book from Farah Strauss Giroux. Those letters appear in the current issue, number 18. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce Jared T. Fisher, who is the assistant editor at Smartish Pace, who will then introduce our poets for today. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to introduce our first reader, Bradley Paul, and I have a brief introduction to read. Bradley Paul was born in Baltimore, Maryland in 1972. His poetry has appeared in American Poetry Review, Boston Review, Smartish Pace, Fence, Pleiades, Iowa Review, and numerous other journals. In 2004, his first book of poetry, The Obvious, was selected by Brenda Hillman for the New Issues Poetry Prize. His second book, The Animals All Are Gathering, won AWP's Donald Hall Prize in Poetry and was published in 2010 by the University of Pittsburgh Press. Paul taught a variety of film, literature, and writing classes at the Maryland Institute College of Art and Towson University before relocating to the West Coast. He has also directed, written, line produced, and edited several short and feature films and commercials. A graduate of University of Tennessee at Chattanooga and the University of Iowa's Writers' Workshop, he currently lives in LA with his wife and painter, Carrie Paul.
Thanks for coming out. I am a Ravens fan. We're TiVoing the game, so if anybody's getting the score, don't say anything. This first poem is based on a real experience of getting into an internet argument, which is never profitable, but it happens. Anybody can write a poem. I am arguing with an idiot online. He says anybody can write a poem. I say some people are afraid to speak. I say some people are ashamed to speak. If they said the pronoun I, they would find themselves floating in the black Atlantic, and a woman would swim by, completely dry, in a rose chiffon shirt. until the ashamed person says her name, and the woman becomes wet and drowns, and her face turns to flayed, ragged pulp, white in the black water. He says that he'd still write, even if someone cut off both his hands. As if it were the hands that make a poem, I say. I say, what if someone cut out whatever brain or gut or loin or heart that lets you say, hey, over here, listen, I have something to tell you all. I'm different. As an example, I mention my mother, who loved that I write poems and am such a wonderful genius. And then I delete the comment because my mother wanted no part of this or any argument, because who am I to say whatever? Once on a grade school form, I entered her job as hair washer. She saw the form and was embarrassed and mad. You should have put receptionist. But she didn't change it. The last word she ever said was no. And now here she is in my poem, so proud of her idiot son, who presumes to speak for a woman who wants to tell him to shut up, but can't. A number of the poems in this book deal with, or don't deal with, but use horror movies as sort of a kind of a metaphor, kind of a filter for addressing various, emotional or intellectual situations. And so, I guess the nominal inspiration for this poem is Night of the Living Dead. How to deal with the most persistent zombie. You were the one who ventured out of the root cellar. You were the one who made a run for the truck. And now your pink scent draws even the bloodless leaves our way. And now the night lurches with the slimy hulls of people we thought we knew. The new bride, the travel agent, the thief. They wear the clothes we thought they'd like to wear, the lipstick, the carnival rouge. I lied when I said, I hope I'll see you all again. There are only so many armoires you can slide in front of the window, just so many bullets in the farmer's pantry. And from the litter of the re-killed dead, one insistent one scratches at the panes, afraid at first of fire, until that too lost its burn. And the memory of the function of the doorknob white with moon quickens the scum in his head. Maybe now we should run. Pathetic corpse that cannot think, I'd thought, and even now might stupidly balk at killing him, who feeds the flies. For he is a boy I almost recognize, and despite the maggots in his sleeve, despite the flying buckshot, he lurched toward a light in a distant window, with the voracious, slimy hope that he might find brains, flesh, a heart, like anyone else. And this poem is based in a restaurant on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, where one of the first places I ate when we had first moved to Los Angeles. And it was a bit surprising. The food was prepared in a fairly primal way. El siete mares. Not los siete mares. Though there are 7 seas, there is only one restaurant. Octopus with Veracruz sauce. Pulpo, like pulp, like from a tree, beaten and bleached into paper. But what comes is not pulpo, nor is it taco nigiri, white ellipse with a purple edge and wrapped with a green-black band, pretty shapes and colors. Nor Meunier, nor Pelard, nor Confit. They grabbed an octopus from the tank and chopped it up and got it hot. And here in a mound on a plate is a hot, chopped-up octopus. There is salt water still in its flesh. My wife, meanwhile, orders fried catfish, which is catfish thrown whole into oil and brought out to stare at her, which is not how they do it in Tennessee. Can't pretend now, friend. You know you're eating me. That was a disturbing event. Like, normally when you order catfish, you think you're going to get like a little breaded fillet. And when instead they bring out like this fish that's just, it was like alive, 5 minutes ago. And now it's just like standing there like this look on its face, staring right back at you. It requires some resolve to decide to go ahead and eat it. Let's see. A monkey could write this poem, and not even a trained one, and not even a chimp, but the ones who aren't so smart, the ones who attack tourists in India. They acclimate to people, and that makes them bold. So they steal grape soda and shrink-wrapped mangoes, and this makes them feel rich, which makes them paranoid. Here come the smiling fatties, wealthy monkey thinks. They're trying out a local word, dhanyavad, dhanyavad. Stupid khaki pants. The next person who pets me, I bite their face. Everyone wants my mangoes. That's another poem that's based on eating in a restaurant. This was sitting in a cafe with like a really nice sidewalk eating area, and suddenly a bus comes by and just like spewed this huge cloud of diesel exhaust. On the sleeve. Oh, I was angry. The guy was like, "You're a dick," and I was like, "No, you're a dick." And he was like, "I want to kill you," and I was like, "No, I want to kill you." And we kept that up for a good while. But we resolved it, so now I'm happy. And the sugars are solid in the flesh of the pear until a gale of diesel exhaust blackens our lunch and soots the cafe window. Now I feel frustrated at the cosmic antipathy toward eating a decent pear. It's like this Iraq business, or cancer out of nowhere. One day everyone's surplusing along, the next day all these people are dead. The guy says, "That's what a dick like you deserves," and I'm angry with him again. Call this a volatile and artless set of moods, self-centered, whatever. But when the dog soldiers come to eat my heart, their red velvet tunics crusted hard in guts that used to be wet, I easily toss them my spleen. And as they gnash each other's haunches in a bloody dog soldier scrum, I skip away, keeping my heart, or so one says, to stay happy, happy, happy. Maybe some people here have taken part in this thing like this. When I was a teenager, my mom took me. My mom's very Catholic, and she took us to healing masses a lot. And it always, when I was like 8, she was like, "You have to pray for what you want." And when you're 8, what you want is like, video games or something. So I was always afraid I was asking for the wrong thing. But this poem is titled "Healing Mass." And we actually used to go at Our Lady of Victory out on Wilkins Avenue, so if anyone's familiar with it, that's where they were held, in the gym. There goes one lady, and there goes another. Ash and Latin, and down they go. My 5th grade teacher to salve her burlap skin. Pray for health, my mother says, but I am healthy. Pray for better faith, but I already believe. The taste of the ocean, the taste of an orange. The palm tree growing inside a cricket. Like a homicide cop with his baggie of bullets, like a district attorney with a videotape. He knows the truth before he asks. So the hell with healing. Please, God, give me money. I could think one thing that motivated that poem is I was always told you can't ask for anything material and or pray for anything material when we were little kids. And I was visiting. I was visiting Mexico, and they have these crosses that you can buy that you hang on the door, and these little tin trinkets that you put on the crosses, and the trinkets basically represent the thing that you're praying for or asking for. And sometimes it would be like a cutout of a foot because the person had a wounded leg or a wounded foot, or it would be an eye because the person needed glasses or something like that. But often there were things like a chicken because whoever wanted more chickens for their farm to be more profitable, or like a little coin because they wanted money. And I was like, wow, you can ask for that? I was blown away. And one more poem from this book. Short ends. And you may know what short ends refer to the little bits of leftover film at the end of a reel. Sometimes they're only a few seconds long. And Soviet filmmakers who pioneered the art of montage, that's all they had because they didn't have much access to like full reels of film. So they would get to shoot for like 1 or 2 seconds at a time, which is why they were so into montage, because you could shoot one thing, then another thing, glue it all together, and eventually make a scene with it. I thought my dog would die for a while. Her kidneys were gone for a while. I paid to get them back for a while. For a while, my dog won't die. They were shooting a movie at the state beach for a while. The sea grapes popped underfoot for a while. My dog insisted she swim for a while. For a while, I was next to the sea. In the cooler, it was cool for a while. The flesh of the pear was cold for a while. The Coke was not flat for a while. For a while, there was something to eat. But where is my brother? He was here for a while. Where is my mother? She was here for a while. They were healthy as my dog for a while. For a while, we made quite a scene. I thought I'd close with some new poems. These poems are from a manuscript that the title of each poem answers the question, what kind of blank are you? And the blank is filled in with different things. And this first one is titled, What Kind of Interesting Mini Fact Are You? And it stems from an interesting little mini fact I had just learned. Samuel Beckett used to drive Andre the Giant to school. Was it a tiny Peugeot, a Fiat 500? By the age of 12, he was 6'3", 240 pounds, while Beckett was good at cricket and plays. Why did Truffaut not film this? Why did Godard not put them in the traffic jam in Weekend? Who would Andre the Giant have eaten? A fly on the gear shift is crushed as Beckett speeds through Montparnasse. He flicks it out the window. On the street by the Hotel St. Jacques, no one says, this is the fly that Samuel Beckett crushed as he shifted to second gear. The fly cells dry and pull apart, and they are soon just dirt pieced among 5 or 6 cobblestones. I am waiting, Beckett said, to see you hit on the back with a folding steel chair. Isn't that absurd? Or something. Whatever Beckett said in French with a slight Irish accent, André-René Roussimoff would never repeat with his woolen scarf of a tongue, eventually forgetting all but one command from his sleazy Parisian promoter and his chugging pituitary. Get bigger, get bigger. Become Géant Fer, become Monster Roussimoff, become Andre the Giant. But at the time, he was just a huge teenager, being driven by a genius. Like the voice of Abraham Lincoln, or the Viking who discovered guitar, or the beating of a pterodactyl's wing, One wishes a tape recorder had been there. Perhaps it was beautiful, or perhaps just history. Or not even history, but a curio from an interesting age, popular among the geeks who plan science museums and the school teachers who love them. There go two of them now, sneaking off to share a Sprite in the echoes and purple light beyond the stuffed mastodon, that mammoth frozen so deeply and so perfectly that when it was found 10 feet inside a glacier, they fed its meat to their dogs. What kind of vampire are you? The bald kind, the rat teeth kind. Is it sad to sleep all that much, or is it nothing? A pretty boy in Pomade Forever with pretty girl agog? A boy by the ocean, all Ferris wheel and hair? No. The black felt kind against more black felt. The scissors kind, the paper kind. The kind who transports all that dirt. Everyone on the ship is dead, and that's just fine with you. What kind of disproportionate response are you? The face that mauled my face has been mauled by a larger face. You say hello to a girl at work, and now she won't stop weeping. Asbestos hello dragged like barbed wire through the lungs. Microbial hello in the kidneys chimed. Oh, translucent plastic jugs. A gallon of bleach will clean your blood. A gallon of gas will clean your skin. A prairie cleared of the fallen elms, ready for bison and cornflower again. The new Midwest of you, the Iowa of your arms, Nebraska of your knees. You can kill every virus in your body by killing yourself. Go on, show us all. And two more short poems. What kind of second are you? You are the 23rd second. Between the 22nd second in which the man fell into the lake and the 24th second in which he stood up, sputtering and wet. A block away from the 25th second of people concerned. A highway exit from the 26th of people laughing. The second of minnows mid-arc, between fleeing the splash and seeing what food might have fallen to them. Even in another minute away from the lake, even in a desert, you are always only this, a gradual sense of green, a solid in a liquid, no memory yet of falling, no anger that you fell. What kind of migratory bird are you? He is in the acacia, laughing. But there are more than 600 types of acacia, some called false acacia, or umbrella, or bullhorn, or sugar. Some used as incense, some to ward off ghosts. They sit in the nursery waiting to be sorted, breaking already through their black plastic pots into the black asphalt lot. Once we are gone, it won't take long at all. I have no name for the bird I saw, the bird with yellow throat, laughing in the blue tree. Thank you.